Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today I will do something like a wall, interior wall. So let's start. So to begin, I will create, let me see, can use this gradient linear, and with the curves node, I will create the base of my shape. So to start, I will put something like this, and something very curvy, like this one. I will disable uh, this one that I can control individually uh, one of these lines, so I will turn off this one and take off like this. And let's select these two and move this forward just a little bit. And let's connect right here. I will increase my normal. I can push this like this and create an ambient occlusion. And let's enable the tessellation to see how this is working. Okay, and what I will do now is create a mirror grayscale, and I will move the mode to I because I want this base on these two sides. Okay, perfect. So what I will do next is create the base of my wall. So to do this, I can start using a tile sampler as an example and put something like a paraboloid and some scale and scale random. Color random. And here in the size, I will decrease a little bit the X size random. I will put something like 0.5 and make more position random. Here in the X and Y amounts I can decrease also. We make more scale random. And with the levels I will invert and make a blur HQ. And with this blur, I will make more control because don't want a high contrast like this part of dark or this one it's too white. So I will move this to near right here and make a blur. And with a height blend as example, I can put this. Or better, instead use a height blend, can just create a blend node. Here I can see the base of my wall, so I can increase the X amount, maybe increase the blur. Okay, so what I will do now is, let's see what this will work. Maybe the multiply looks good, But what I will do is create a mask for this one. So I will create a levels. Put here in my mirror grayscale. I will push the black and push the white also. And I will invert these two. And let's connect here to see how this is looking. It's normal. This happened because as you can see it's a multiply, so it makes these things more darker. But it's looking well. What I can do next is try to create some stretches on the surface. And to do this, I can try some specific shapes. For example, if I go here in my notes, I can find this one. This one it's really interesting. And what I will do is, for example, take this and let's blend together as subtract to see how this is looking. I will create a high contrast and increase the balance. And something like this is enough. But of course, I will stylize this shape. And for this, let's see what we can do. First, here we have a very sharp shapes. So to this, I can try first create a bevel, but a very soft one. Let's push this. I will increase the smoothing. Hmm. Instead use bevel, maybe blur HQ should work well. And now we'll create a slope blur. Let's push this one right here. And I can create a warp and use the crystals. Now with a levels I can push the black. More I think the result is much more soft. But what I will need to do also is decrease the number of this damage. So maybe I can make a better balance right here. Or if this not work, I can just let's see what I can get. Let's try to push some more more noisy. Let's see what's happened if I blend these two. Okay, let's try a new one. Maybe this one have more variant. Let's blend these two together what to see what's happened. Yeah, I think this one looks really good. Okay, I can work with this. What I can do after that, um, I will try to make some normal map and I will increase this normal map and let's do after curvature smooth. After that, I will create a very soft blur HQ and I will blend right here, this one. Let's increase again the blur. I will try to use the max lighting to see if this light can reach. So we'll create a levels and then we'll push the white and also the black. Like this. It's really interesting what I can get right here. Some of this is weird, but I will decrease the opacity to make this more soft and make this border more interesting, like this one. Okay, I think the result looks cool. And let's see if this works well. If I instead use the levels, I will use a histogram scan. Because with this histogram scan, I can just control with my height the depth of this mask. I think it's cool. Okay. Going back here on these curves, I will decrease a little bit this to make more interesting the shape. Okay. And on this one, I will create a new blend. And on this blend, I will put a very soft pattern. So let me go back here. For example, I can use this fiber, this fiber pattern. We'll create a transform and divide by 2, by 2 again, by 2 again. And make this very soft as he's looking right here. Okay. And what I can do also is try to create a base for this one, for this background. So for example, for this, I will make something very simple, but I will use some tables of wood. So instead of use bricks, I will use some squares, and I will put luminance random, and I will just turn off the eye amount like this. Increase the X. Something like this should work well. I will create an edge detect, and I will put a bevel. So I will create some slopes to like this. I will just make this very soft, the smooth, and with a blend, I will use the multiply to make a very soft height difference. Like this one should work well. And with the slope blur grayscale, I will use a pearly noise to make some deformation on the shape. Something like this. We'll create a new slope blur, but this time with a different shape of slope blur. Maybe this one should work well. I can just delete, increase the samples, decrease the intensity. Okay. And what I can do also is create now a height blend and put these tables right here. But what I will do is decrease a lot, increase the contrast. Let me make this bigger, so I will decrease the balance to see if this just working well. So maybe I can try to make this more darker. So right here, mm, what I can do, maybe before this is linear, I can use a blend to do a multiply like this. Let me go back the increase the balance. I will decrease the ambient occlusion. So we'll just turn off this multiply Let's go back here and take off this one. I don't need more this height blend. I will increase the normals and the ambient occlusion. Okay, so what I will do next, I will save this for after maybe. Take some colors and makes a different shape. So for example, I can use the polygon. I will turn off the gradient. I will decrease the scale and made an edge detect from this and put this on my pattern 1. With this, I will invert, and with the style sampler I can make a lot of things like a different shape. I can go back here on edge detect and make the edge smaller, create more roundness. So what we do is create a red shape, something like this. And on this blend, I will use the same mask on this one, like this. But on this blend, I will subtract with this one. Sorry, just multiply. And I will put this mask here. Can delete this one. And where it is, would like to put right here for these horizontal lines. So for this one, maybe the best is to use the odd linear, but make a very soft, very soft shape. With this blend, instead use this on opacity. Maybe I can just create a blend, use a gradient linear on this one, push a color like yellow as an example, take a red, but I will turn off the opacity and push to. And take the same mask for this one. And let's put these two together right here. Now what I will do is create a gradient map, but based on this part that will be a wood. Something like this. I will blend again, but this time just for this base. So I will create a levels because maybe I can need to push more difference. Let's invert. Okay, perfect. Maybe this one needs to be more black. Okay, this one can be my base color. So what I will do next is create some color variation for the shape. And to make this, I will create a cells for. And with a transform, I will push this like this, make a slope, uh, a non-uniform, sorry, the make it a tile photo grayscale. To make this tile again, I will make a slope with clouds like this. Maybe I can blur a little bit these clouds. I will make a gradient linear. For this, I want different colors. Let's blend together. So here, now I will create a high pass grayscale and put on this blend because I want to make some highlights for these edges. So I will create a gradient map after that. Push the black and white. And I will create a blend right here. So let's create some roughness map. I will take this curvature. I can take a levels to invert and blend with this cells right here. And blend also with spots. Can delete this. I will use now a histogram scan to control the roughness. It's very shiny, it looks good. But one thing that I like to do is make some variation on this wood shape right here. So what I will do next is going back here, create a slope. I will start trying to use the pearly noise or crystals. Maybe crystal will work well. And I will make a very soft blur. And here on my slope, I will use the minimum and decrease a lot the intensity. And let's blend these two together, this one with this one, and the result will be my output. And the blending mode will be the minimum darken. So I will push. Let's decrease the scale of the crystals. Looks interesting, the shape. I can delete this one, I don't want more. But I think this needs more variation. So for this, what I will do is take this one. I will rotate, I will decrease the X and decrease a lot of the I, and make a directional warp using again a pearly noise. Let's see if we have a big pearly noise right here. Um, I think no. So I will create a new pearly noise, increase the scale, and let's increase the intensity also. Push this and make a directional warp, but this time use um, the Gaussian spots 1, because with this I can use a histogram scan and make some of this just disappear. I can take a transform, make a zoom, make something like this. Maybe I can increase the X just a little. And here on smoothing I will decrease, and this can be my shape. With this I will slope with the directional noise 4. I will rotate this in 90°, and with the samples I will decrease the intensity and make something like this. And what I will do is create a normal map, and I will use a curvature and a gradient map to make some variation. I will take something like yellow, a red, and I will just select this one, hold Control, and move this. Something like this should work well for a variation map for the wood. And let's blend right here together. So with this color variation, let's see if I can get new different colors. Okay, this should work well. And for the normal map, maybe I can try to blend these two together. But what I will do is put this one on the opacity for this normal map. So for example, for this top of part, I will use that sub to make this work. Okay, and with this curvature, I can use a gradient map to push the black and the white, and again create a new blend right here. To make a very soft highlight. Make this yellow, this one more yellow too. Looks more interesting. And just to finish, I will try to push a different color for this area. So for example, right here, I can try to create a new gradient map for the shape, and the color will be something like a yellow. And I will create a blend right here. Okay. But what I will do is create a levels like this, and I will push more the white and less the black to get this effect right here. Now I think it's better. And I will take the ambient occlusion and try to blend these two together with a gradient map. A bright color and a gray. Let's push as overlay. Let's try find a different color for this. Maybe blue should work well. One thing that I'm thinking is going back here in the shape and rotate And for this one, rotate to horizontal, maybe looks better. I think now it's much more interesting. Okay, so I think that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I see you next time.